Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Vox. Tracy here. And boy, was I ill yesterday. After I had done my video, I started to feel really bad. And you know, I felt kind of like I had a bit of a cold in the morning. And what I think happened yesterday, I feel a bit better today. Not quite 100%, but yesterday it was like I had the whole of COVID symptoms in a day. I started off with that sniffle, like the tickle and the sneezy sort of, and then as the day progressed, all of my arms ached, and and I was just sitting there looking around, not knowing what to do with myself, and I wound up in bed. I ended up in bed, and you know, I don't know if you've ever had COVID, but the way I felt, almost kind of breathless like this, and feeling grotty, was the way I felt. It's not like any other kind of time I felt ill, to be honest with you. The only time I felt like that was when I actually had COVID. So I think that's kind of yesterday in a bit of a nutshell. I had a whistle stop kind of tour of COVID symptoms, but not severe, not like they were if you actually had actual COVID, just one day of kind of incapacitation, really, because I couldn't really do much. By the time Gary got home from work, he found me in bed, and I cut my arm. Look at that. It's a nice one. It goes all the way from there, all the way down. So a normal plaster can't cover it. And so I had to make one out of gauze and the kind of plaster tape that you can buy. Luckily, we had some in the first aid cabinet, but it's really long. And when Gary said, "What have you done to your arm?" I took it off because I figured I'd had it on all day, and it started to bleed again. And I said, "Oh my God, it's really bleeding." So that's hours and hours. So I had to put another one on, and it's staying on until I wash my hair in a sec. So yeah, but wow, that was weird, because what happened, I didn't cut it with anything you might think of cutting yourself with. I had a little plug board, you know, one of these things you plug plugs in, and it fell behind my dressing table, and I thought, oh, I can't really, it was not a dressing table, it was a chest of drawers, so I can't have it down there, you know. I think of fire hazards and all sorts of things. And plus you want to plug things in and unplug things. So I pulled it up, and as I was pulling it up, my arm caught on the corner of the chest of drawers, which must have not been finished very well and was kind of jagged. And it ripped my skin open. And I thought, I keep getting little catches like that. And every now and then I look, I've got all these kind of under the skin blood spots. And I think, is my skin becoming old lady and crepey and like paper? Is that what's happening? Because I'm cutting way too easily. But the other day, when I helped Gary with the ceiling, seriously, I must have like 5 different bruises and cuts on my leg from where I accidentally kind of, you know, there was something sticking out that was in the way. We had to clear out all of the living room, and it's all in the way, so you don't really see it, and you bang into it, and some of them are jagged and got corners on, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like, I'm just a mass of cuts and bruises now. And now I've got this thing, size of it goes all the way down. I thought, I can't put plaster on that, because the plaster will be on the actual cut. So make a plaster. What a mess. I was an absolute mess yesterday. I do feel a bit better today. I don't feel quite my 100%, but I think it was just my jab, to be honest with you. That's what I think. Little reaction to having had it. I can't say, you know, like some people go, oh, it made me ill, it gave me COVID, and I can't. It doesn't. It was just a day. It was a day, whereas COVID was a week of feeling really grot. So I know it didn't give it to me. It just, I had a bit of a reaction to this one. Right, we had that one. Pasture Prime. I asked a hen I asked a hen the age-old question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? The poor thing went through an existential crisis. Existential crisis. Oh dear. But that is a weird question, isn't it? I mean, obviously, the chicken or a relative of the chicken had to come first to lay the first egg. It had to, didn't it? Eggs don't just appear. Something laid it. So something that didn't lay eggs must have evolved into a chicken. What evolved in? Mated with something and then became a chicken, or evolved into a chicken, which then laid eggs rather than giving birth to a live creature like we do. We give birth to live creatures. You know what I mean? Oh. But it has to, doesn't it? It had to be the first thing that laid the egg has got to have been kind of chicken-like, surely. Unless the thing that laid eggs mated with something that then became a chicken. So the first chicken came out of the egg. Oh, you could kind of blow your mind, couldn't you, thinking about this? Do we care? They taste good. That's all I care about. Anyway. You know, it's a debate, one of those debates, the age-old debate, isn't it? But is it one of those things that we don't need to think about? That's what I want to know. It's more or less a moot point. So yesterday I was going to start doing my derma rolling, but the only thing I did was roll over in bed. Honestly, I felt so awful. I can't say it was as bad as having COVID. It wasn't. But I don't feel well. I was just like, oh, I'm going to bed. Gary cooked dinner. He went to work and then he came home and he cooked dinner. And I got up and I ate some. And we watched a little bit of TV and then we both went to bed early. I slept really well as well. I did wake up every couple of hours, but I got straight back off again. And slept a long time. Must have needed it. That's one thing. So I'm going to give myself a couple of days to get back on my feet before I run any marathons. I'm never fit enough to run a marathon ever in my entire life. I think there's probably a time when I was the most fittest. I could have trained for it, but I wouldn't have wanted to because, you know, who wants to run really when you don't have to run? I know there are people out there that love running. My son, Paul, is one of these people that runs. And when he runs, he was going to do a marathon and he was training for it. And he, he used to be able to run half marathon. Not that he ever did, but that's how far he used to run when he's running. And then he kind of started upping it and upping it and upping it in training to do it. How and why he ever got that motivation didn't come from me, I can tell you. Didn't come from my genes, that's for sure. Got that from someone else's. Although my dad was quite sporty. My dad was a very good swimmer, and funny enough, so is Paul. Apparently, there's tales of the things my dad could do when in swimming. My auntie was very, very sporty. His sister, she, I believe it was swimming. She swam for a county and all sorts of things. I think she did that decathlon. No, that might have been her son. Her son did the decathlon. See, there are sporty people related to me. It's just not in me. It missed this kind of, what's the word, birth of this person. It kind of missed me. Although, having said that, I was a shirker. When I was at school, I was one of these people that did not want to do PE. I was like, always never had a kit on me. And one day I didn't take an excuse note. And I was like, oh, no. And they said to me, right, you can go to Lost Property and find yourself a kit and you can come back, you're taking part. So I had cobbled together things from the Lost Property office, a kit with a pair of plimp soles, and we had to run. We were doing athletics trials, and there were all of the big girls who were really good at athletics were pitted against us, and I was neck and neck with this girl called Beatrice, and she was like all elbows. Her elbows were out trying to stop me from getting by her. Now, if I'd had my wits about me, I could have ducked under because, you know, she was an Amazon and I wasn't. But she pushed me out. And afterwards, the teacher came over to me and she said, would you like to join? Would you like to join our athletics team? And I said, no, I wouldn't. I couldn't think of anything I'd least like to do. Why? And they said, nobody ever keeps up with her. You know, she is the one that does run for the county, and nobody keeps up with her, and you never, ever do PE. So can you imagine if you started training what you could accomplish? And I said, no, that's not, I don't fancy it, thanks, you know. And that was that. And the only reason I was that fast was because there was a couple of bullies that used to chase me home from school. And seriously, that is the only reason I was ever fast, because I had to get away. For my life depended on it. I did sort the bullies out in the end, but at this particular moment in time, I hadn't. And they both used to have like have it in for me. And there was this one boy who lived near me, and he used to chase me home every night. He never caught me, never once. And you know, he played football and he did running a lot. Never ever caught me. I made sure of that. I was a very fast little runner, but only for my life, you know, because of any kind of sport, I can assure you. And they said, oh, please join. And I was like, you know me, I don't even have a kit. You know, no thanks. I wasn't really built for running, you know. It had these boobs and stuff early, and I just didn't enjoy anything like that. I wasn't very sporty at all. But yeah, I was a very fast runner. But that was necessity. Not because of any love of it. You know, that was the thing. Anyway, that's another story, isn't it? I used to get, for a short time, I say short, it wasn't that short, a couple of years I was bullied badly. And I always think it gives me a kind of a, and this might sound trite, but it gives me a kind of a little bit of an insight in racism, because the only thing they hated me for was my skin and the colour of my hair, because I had red hair and freckles, and that was the only thing they bullied me for, the fact that I had freckles, and that the whole school practically bullied me at this time. It became a thing. They invented a name for my disease. It was called the Rymel touch, because my name was Rymel. And if you touched me, then you caught it. So none of them would, and none of them wanted to. And well, you know what it's like when kids kind of mimic other kids. So when you had to do those things where you stand in a circle and hold hands, they were all like, no, like this. You know, and I was new to the school. And so I was a tough little cookie before I joined that school. But because it was so many people and I wouldn't know anyone, and I was a kind of a fish out of water, I did let it go on for quite some time. And I told this story about how my mum found out about it and caught me trying to scrub them off with some Ajax scouring cream. Well, it was actually powder on a Brillo pad. I was rubbing my skin raw, and she caught me at it, and I was sobbing. And because somebody said, why do you have them? Why don't you get rid of them? I would. And if you were to do this, it would get rid of them. So I thought, right, okay, let's try. And she caught me at it. And she could not believe. I had a massive bruise on my leg where this other boy had kicked me when I wasn't really prepared and hadn't got in run mode, you know. And so she said, I can't believe you're letting these kids get away with this, because I told you I used to be a tough cookie before that. In my other school, nobody would have even dreamt of bullying me. So not that I was a bully, but you know, I could hold my own. And she said, I can't believe you're doing this, you know, you are letting these kids do this. And I said, well, she said, I could go to the school and sort it out for you, or you got to sort it out yourself, because if I do go to the school, it just get worse. The only person who can sort this out is you. And she said to me, if you don't hit them back, then I'm going to hit you twice as hard. But she didn't mean it. She never hit me. And she said, Oh, you're more scared of them or me? So, you know, it's like, them, because I know you wouldn't hit me. So she then said, you know, whatever, don't worry about the gang. Forget them, they're nobody. Just get the biggest, ugliest one with the biggest mouth, the ringleader. And whatever they do to you, you do back 3 times as hard. So if she slaps you, you thump her. And if she punches you, you give her an almighty punch. Whatever she does back, you do it 2 or 3 times as hard, you know. And never let her have the last word or the last hit. You make sure you do. So I'm at school the next day thinking, I've got to stop this, got to stop this. Sure as it happened, it did. And my mum's voice in my head was, whatever she does to you, you do back 3 times as hard. So she pushed me, so I shoved her. And it kind of like, she was taken aback. She didn't know what had hit her. So she came over and she slapped me. So I just, all this rage just went bang. And then the next thing you know, we're in this tussle and I'm in front of the headmaster and she's crying and I'm like coming round from the red mist. And he asked us what happened. She told a pack of lies. And he asked me and I told him the truth. And she said, oh, sorry, he said, you know what? I believe her, like pointing at me. And this girl, Sarah, she was like, what? He said, you know why? Because I don't know her name, Sarah, but I know you, don't I? Because you're in here every single day. Every day. But I've never seen this girl before. So I believe her. She kind of, when he turned his back, she went, you wait. I went, I'll be waiting. And she never, ever come after me again. Never. And then on the way home, there's Gary. His name was Gary, I know. Running after me. And as I run down this alley, I'm thinking, I've got to stop it, I've got to stop it. So I waited for him. And as he got nearer, I just put my leg out and he went sprawling into the road and I kicked the living crap out of him as he was on the floor. I thought, I've got to get him, I've got to get him in my position. And he stood up, tears streaming down his face. And he just said, if you ever tell anyone about this, I'll kill you. And he ran home. And that was the end. I was never bullied again. And in fact, after that, people treated me like a hero, but I never told anyone. It was weird. I was, you know, I just wanted the end. I didn't tell anyone. But everybody knew, strangely. I don't know how, but they did. Maybe people saw it, I don't know, you know. Well, everyone saw Sarah. I mean, it was in the playground, so everybody saw that one. Maybe they just didn't know about Gary. It wasn't my Gary. He would never have bullied me. But yeah, honestly. So yeah, I was bullied for a short time. I say short, felt like forever. But after that, I became the one who always defended everybody. Weirdly. You know, if ever there was a person that needed defending, it became me that did the defending. And I'd see something going on and I'd go over there and break it up. And I'd always be the one that stopped it. Weirdly. Maybe I should have been in the police. I don't know. Probably not. You know, sounds like too much like hard work. You know me. I'd rather sit on my butt for a living, you know. No, only joking. I've had some horrible jobs in my time, mostly because of where I lived and the limited choices that I had in life back then. You know, we had no buses, so how was I going to get to work? The limited choices I had were awful. So I stayed on, and the only thing I could stay on and do was business studies. And in a way, it turned out to be the best thing I did, because although I hated working in an office when I finally did get out into the world, I got touch typing and all things under my belt, like office work. So when computers really took off, they were just starting to come in when I was at school. But they were DOS, you know, and hard to work on. And I never fancied doing computing. But I was able to touch type, so, you know, I can type really fast. And it did stand me in a good stead for a lot of other things in life other than working in an office. And every job I've ever had, I've always been really quick at typing because of it, which is a good thing. None of the other skills that I learned at the time did I ever use, like shorthand. Not once in my entire life. I was brilliant at that as well. Just never used it. I never became a shorthand typist or a secretary. Never did it. Never mind, eh? It's a few years ago now. At 1 or 200. I am hot. I am absolutely radiating heat, and I'm not feeling as grotty as I did though, which is something to be lauded. Now, I had a bit of a problem earlier. The internet was flashing because we had a power cut, and it was one of those power cuts that lasted 30 seconds. And they are awful because all they do is they switch everything off and then it doesn't want to come back on. If it's off for any length of time, it kind of resets everything. But if it's off for that length of time, it's just not enough and it doesn't then want to come back. So this one has a blue light in here, but then that probably didn't ever go off. But the main one was flashing and orange and then green, then orange, and I had to go over and reset the little box. So I'm not sure what my internet is going to be like, whether I'm going to be able to upload quick or whether I'm going to be able to upload at all. So yeah, you might see me today. You might not. I did think that, I wasn't going to be able to make any videos today because I was just awful yesterday. I can't... I never had a cold, but by the time I'd finished doing my Open With Me, all of the symptoms of sniffles had gone. That's what I mean. I had the whole gamut of symptoms in a day. So like for a couple of hours I had the sneezing and the sniffles, and then for a couple of hours I was hot and just feeling a bit lethargic. For a couple of hours, well, a bit more than a couple of hours, I had achy bones. And then, just tired, breathless, but just for a few hours apiece. It was like a whole week condensed into a day, bizarrely. I don't know how I feel today. I'm kind of a lot better, I know that, but I know I'm not 100%. I feel still a bit warm. But other than that, at least it's not a cold, right? That's the main thing. It wasn't that kind of thing. So yesterday as well, before I got the lurgy, I'd spent a little bit of time wrapping up presents and managed to make a big dent in that. I did some before, but where I'd got new things delivered and I thought I don't really want somebody walking in the room and seeing something. So luckily I managed to do some wrapping, and I'm going to use a couple of these for a few things that are hard to wrap. They're like a brilliant little godsend for that. So yeah, that will save me a little bit of wrapping. Or usually I try and find a box and put something in a box, and then it's a square present, which is easier, or rectangular. But I haven't always got a box that'll fit something, and I've got lots of little presents for someone as well, and they can all go in there, and then they can open it and they're all together, which would be easy. And that would be Tyler. He's got lots of little things. That was what Gemma said he kind of needed. So anyway, I'm going to get off and upload this because I'm just babbling on, and I hope I feel a bit better later on. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing today, so you might see me a bit later. You never know, you might not. It depends if it comes back over me in a wave again. But I did want to start the microneedling, derma rolling thing yesterday, but it didn't quite work out. I used that new cream today, that new kind of foundation cream, and I must say the one that got half price. I don't know if you've seen that unboxing, but it was a half price Charlotte Tilbury thing. I've got an itch, but it's right there on my nose. It's not in my nose, it's on that bit there. Bizarrely, just right there. What's that all about? Anyway, yeah, I thought it was a good colour match. Or am I orange? I don't know. Maybe I'm orange. Have I been tangoed? Maybe, maybe not. Anywho, you know how much I hate it when I say that. I'm going to get off, upload this, and hopefully upload this, depending on whether the interweb thingy has come back or not. If not, I guess I won't be seeing you later. Bye for now.